Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing Ethnos from CMON Games. Ethnos is a 1-6 player area control game featuring highly asymmetric factions as players race to gain the most points in area control across 3 rounds of play, or 2 depending on the player count. This is a rapid fire review, a format where I try to cover the game and tell you my thoughts and opinions in 10 minutes or less. With that said, Ethnos is a reprint. This is Ethnos 2nd edition. There was the original Ethnos from CMON, from another publisher too, if I'm not mistaken. Then there's Archaeos Society, I believe, Archaeos Society, which was a kind of step sideways, a little different, elements of the same game, but different. And now we have Ethnos 2nd edition, giving you new art and slightly adjusted rules and components and a whole bunch of things, some better, some worse than the original game. Ethnos at its core is area control. The general idea of the game is you're either taking control of an area over here, placing one of your tokens down into the area, or instead you're gathering cards. So for example, on my first turn over here, I can go ahead and gather this card over here. Done, that's my card over here, and I could take from the top of the deck, or I could take a card, and you will start thinking about the card as well. Other players are going to go ahead and take their card, and then on my turn, I can go ahead and play this card. But let's go ahead and draw another card because I kind of want to show you how this works. Let's see, ooh, that's actually a good next step over here. We're going to gather this card over here, and then we're going to add that to my hand. This is going to give me the ability to show you a few abilities we have at play. For my next turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play a card. Now I'm going to play a card, and in this case, I'm going to be adding a token to this region. This is my card, and this is my leader on that card. So for example, I'm going to take my token over here, and I'm going to put it into that region. One card lets me put one token into play. The downside is once you've played a card, or any number of cards for that matter, you have to discard the rest of your cards. So you have to discard all the rest of the cards you have to be discarded, and what's tricky is when playing a set of cards, you have to play a set of cards equal to the number of the token you're putting in. So for example, this first token takes 1 card. Your second token takes 2 cards. Now the 2 cards can either share the same species over here, the same race or whatnot, or they can share the same color. Either of those things will let you play a set of cards. In this case, because I'm playing only 1 card to place this token over here, that's going to be enough to let me place this, which means I'd have to discard this. This is a wasted card draw. Except that's where the clan abilities come into play, because all these clans have asymmetric abilities. And in typical, again, depending on player count, but you'll have 6 clans from the, I don't even know how many there are. I think there's 12 in the base game plus a few promos, so there's like 16 total clans. So you're gonna have 6 of those clans in play. The combination of those 6 are gonna be the abilities that you're working with. And this particular ability over here is I can go ahead and hold on to cards equal to the size clan that I played. So I played a size 1 clan, I can hold on to 1 card, which is great because when it comes back to my turn, I'm gonna show you another ability. And because on my next turn, I'm gonna play this card over here, this card that I held on to, in order to place another token over here. And you're like, Alex, didn't you just tell me you would need 2 cards for my second token, 3 cards for my third token, and so forth? That's true, except this clan's ability is I can play 1 less card than the token that I'm placing in. So effectively, I've been able to show you 2 of these 6 abilities we currently have in play. But the general idea, what's a more common turn over here is let's go ahead and gather a few cards over here. Let's gather these over here. So right now, over here with the typical hand, a little bit later in the game, if I have these cards that I'm trying to figure out what to do, I could pair these up to place a size 2 clan, or I could pair these up to place a size 3 clan. The tricky part is when I'm trying to choose which ability I do over here. Right now with these, if I'm placing this over here, I can place down a token over here. Now I only need 1, but again, I'm gonna have to discard cards anyway, so I may as well try to play more cards. So in my case, I'm gonna place 1 token down here, and the reason I want to play more cards is each played clan is also worth points equal to the number of cards in that clan. So if I played 4 cards, I get 6 points. 5 cards is 10, and 6 cards is 15, which means placing these 3 will give me 3 points over here. And I'm gonna use this ability over here, and this ability is going to give me the size 3 token from over here, which is helpful for breaking ties, and there are a lot of ties in this game, so getting those tokens can be very helpful. I have a size 3 clan, but now unfortunately this card does have to be discarded back to the common pool. That's the more common way a turn will play out. You're slowly gathering cards either from the open display, from the initial starting set each round, or from the cards that are added to display as players have to discard cards from the hand, or you're just top decking hoping for a good combination of cards to be able to play that clan that you really need. Now why are you doing all of this? Why are you playing all these tokens over here? Because at the end of the round, and again there's going to be 3 rounds in play, you're going to look to see who has the most tokens in any given region, and in round 1, that player, for example over here, that player is going to score 4 points. If this were round 2, let's add a few more tokens over here, and these would be stacked, but for the top-down camera, I'm going to let you see this play out. For the round 2 over here, instead we would look and see, let's put another token over here. In this region over here, somebody over here would get 4 points, second place would get 2 points. If it were round 3, you get 12, 4, and 4 for first, second, and third. And again, ties can be broken by these if you have them from that particular clan, otherwise you just just add up the points and divide them amongst the players, which means you are looking at the various regions to see where they're going to score to be able to prep to get those extra points across those 3 rounds of play, and you're doing so while trying to gather these cards. What triggers the end of a round is going to be these dragons. These are shuffled into the bottom half of the deck, and you're going to, once you draw your 3rd dragon, the round is instantly over, which means once there are 2 dragons in play, you are desperately trying to figure out what you need to do, or what you can possibly get onto the board before that round end is triggered. That's the basic idea of Ethnos. You are gathering various clans, you're using 6 of the various clans in order to combine your unique little puzzle of abilities that are going to be in play, and then you're trying to figure out how to utilize those abilities most efficiently and get a little bit lucky with the top decking in order to be able to get the most points across those 3 rounds. Which brings us to a review of part of this. Am I keeping this game? Yes, very much so. I'm a big fan. Well, let's get to the why or why not. Why am I keeping this game? I'm a big fan of Ethnos. I have been since the original game, although the original game, I did find the art and graphic design was so dry that I always didn't feel inclined to play it. I enjoyed it when I did, but I wasn't pulled into it. I always wanted a 2nd edition, and when Archaeos Society came out, that one didn't really speak to me, and so unfortunately I was a little let down by that one. But this one, I love the art and the presentation of it. There are some downsides to it, we'll come to that soon, but overall I think this is a good version, or a better version of Ethnos that at least fixes the art and graphic design for the most part. We'll have complaints. It gives me a better game. As far as why do I like Ethnos to begin with, Ethnos is a game that usually plays in roughly 45 to 60 minutes. It handles anywhere from 3 to 6 players really well. I think 3 to 5, I think 4 to 5 is a sweet spot, 3 is good and 6 is good, but 4 to 5 is a sweet spot, and the high amount of asymmetry and powers and abilities makes it a fascinating puzzle to dive into every single time. I love having different combinations of powers and trying to figure out what am I going for in this game, which cards are the most important, which regions are the most contested. Overall, I just think it gives you a lot of variability, a lot of player count scalability, and does so in a relatively short time frame, giving you a good player experience. As far as other similar games you should check out, definitely check out Mission Red Planet. I think that has some similarities of the area control puzzle, as well as the bright poppy art, and so Mission Red Planet 2nd edition specifically is one worth checking out. And if you want one of my favorite area control games in general, handles 5 players amazingly, 4 players less so, check out El Grande, an excellent area control game, one of my favorites. As far as counter opinion, why might this game not be for you, or this edition not be for you? So first of all, there are some step downs from the original edition, which means again, targeting both people who may not like Ethnos as well as people who may not want this edition of Ethnos. I guess let's talk about Ethnos first. Why might Ethnos in general not be for you? There's a lot of luck of the draw and top decking in this game. You are frequently trying to build a set, which means you are frequently diving into the top deck, and some players will get lucky and some players won't. There's a lot of luck. As much as there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of luck going on as well. Additionally, some combinations of powers just don't give you that same amazing feeling that others do. I find that Ethnos is a game that can have a really good combination that is incredibly satisfying, and then sometimes they just don't come together as well, giving you anywhere from good to great playing experiences, and again, that luck part is definitely a factor you want to be mindful of. As far as specifically 2nd edition, there are some steps downwards. First of all, I don't like the fact that they got rid of the lower values in these. They try to make sure it's a little more feel good, so it's 4, 6, 8, 10, and then a 12 over here, but the 1st edition had some lower values, forcing you to even consider if you wanted to go into a 0-point region to set yourself up for future rounds, which I like that decision point around what you're doing, so I miss that range of values. Also, there's some usability issues like the card colors. Black as a clan color. Let me see if I can find the cards over here. You're going to have black over here. This black region, you'll have players asking, where's the black region? The purple region is the black region. That is a problem over there. And then they got rid of text on the cards in favor of iconography, which while overall good, and they do give you great player aids over here to give you all the basic abilities starting off, as soon as you have those promo abilities, you suddenly have to start referencing abilities in different places. And so I do think iconography is not bad once you know the game decently, but at first it's going to be a bit more overwhelming. So there are some step downwards, as much as I overall prefer this edition's art and production and all of that. As far as final thoughts on Ethnos, Ethnos was always a great game. I always enjoyed Ethnos for what it gave to the board game space, but again, looks do matter, especially when you're dealing with so many incredible games. I do look at the full package of everything a game brings to the table. So it was a game that I had in my collection for several years, but then eventually did get rid of, hoping for a 2nd edition. There were always rumors of one coming, and then when Archaeos Society came out, I was a little let down by that. But this game makes me want to play it. This game has you fighting over the cute creatures and trying to figure out which ones you want want to add to the game. There's a visual popping to this game that is better despite some production issues. Overall, the great gameplay of the original Ethnos, the slightly better version of this version of it, gives me a game that I just like playing. It's a fun game to table. This is going to be a 4 out of 5 for me. Until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.